The heart is a muscle about the size of your fist. It lies behind and to the left of your breastbone or sternum. The purpose of the heart is to pump blood through blood vessels, arteries, and veins to all parts of your body. The inside of the heart is divided into 4 chambers. The top 2 chambers are called the atria and are collection chambers for blood. The bottom 2 chambers are called the ventricles and receive the blood from the atria and pump it to the lungs and the body. The chambers are separated by valves, which control the direction of blood flow. There are 4 valves: tricuspid, pulmonic, mitral, and aortic. Circulation begins at the right side of the heart, where blood from the body comes to the right atrium. This blood passes to the right ventricle, where it is pumped to the lungs to receive oxygen. Once it receives oxygen, it flows to the left atrium and then to the left ventricle, where it is pumped to the aorta and the rest of the body. On the right side of the heart, the tricuspid valve separates the right atrium and the right ventricle, allowing blood to enter the ventricle but not flow backwards to the atrium. Blood flows through the pulmonic valve to go to the lungs. On the left side of the heart, the mitral valve separates the left atrium and the left ventricle. Blood flows from the left ventricle to the aorta through the aortic valve and to the rest of the body. Arteries carry blood with oxygen and other nutrients throughout the body. Veins take blood back to the heart, which pumps it to the lungs to be oxygenated. The heart arteries, coronary arteries, provide oxygen and nutrients to the heart muscle. The right coronary artery supplies blood to the bottom and the back of the heart. The left coronary artery splits into 2 vessels. One branch supplies blood to the front of the heart. The other branch delivers blood to the left side of the heart. An electric system transmits signals throughout the heart to control its pumping. The electrical signal starts in the sinoatrial or SA node, which is located in the upper portion of the right atrium and is known as the natural pacemaker of the heart. The electrical signal passes down to the lower chambers of the heart via the atrioventricular or AV node, which controls the signals so the atria contract before the ventricles. In the ventricles, pathways carry the signal throughout the muscle so that they contract at the same time to pump blood to the lungs and through the body.
At about the same time that Ambrose was relating angiographic appearance to plaque disruption and thrombus, Michael Davis, a pathologist at St. George's Hospital and Medical School in London, was coming to similar conclusions through his studies of the microanatomy of critical coronary lesions in patients who died after an acute coronary event. He found that the so-called culprit lesion usually showed evidence of a recent tear or fissure.
We are going to take a trip down the left anterior descending coronary artery of a man of 58 who suddenly dropped dead from ischemic heart disease. Here you can see his proximal portion in his left anterior descending, quite a good vessel at this point, with some wall disease but no significant narrowing. And you can see that really quite a large patent vessel. And if we look at the next section down, this face would be the equivalent to the previous section. You can see again good lumen size, but now there is a very distinct, quite large plaque here, but a nice arc of normal vessel wall and a very big lumen. So angiographically so far, a normal coronary artery. If we go yet further down, we now get into high-grade stenosis. You can see the vessel lumen here is much reduced in size. It's reduced in size by the presence of this rather large plaque over here, and it contains a fair amount of lipid. The lipid is beginning to get rather sort of crumbly, and you can see that it's beginning to break up at that point. And if we go another centimetre distally, I think we can now begin to see that this may be the lesion that actually caused this man's death. You can see that quite a marked reduction in lumen size, a big plaque, but now you can see that there's a presence of a split or tear running actually down into the plaque itself. The next section, we can now look down actually into the lumen, and you can see there that there is the intimal tear clearly visible there. So there is actually an intimal tear present. And if we turn that over, so we've now gone just a little distally, you can see that here there was once a big atherosclerotic plaque, which seems to be actually filled now with thrombus. There was the plaque cap, just make it out as a white line. And I think what we have evidence is that there's been a sequence of events going on in this segment of coronary artery over perhaps some days, perhaps a week, and finally becoming a more acute thrombotic process.